So with all this craziness after George Floyd's death, apparently Cops has been canceled. To tell you the truth, I didn't know it was still on. Crazy thing is I actually grew up with a guy that ended up being on Cops. This Puerto Rican dude I knew. Anyway, why Cops finally got canceled after 32 seasons. After 32 seasons and more than 1,000 episodes, Cops is ending. Earlier this month, the Viacom CBS-owned Paramount Network, which became the home for new Cops episodes after it changed its name from Spike TV in 2018, pulled reruns of the controversial show from its schedule amid mass protests following the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis on May 25th and other incidents of police brutality. Now the network is scrapping the reality show that followed police officers on the job altogether. Cops is not on Paramount Network, and we don't have any current or future plans for it to return, a network spokesperson told Hollywood Reporter. Prior to the show's cancellation, the 33rd season of Cops was previously scheduled to premiere on the Paramount Network on June 15th. Before making the jump to basic cable in 2013, the show aired new episodes on Fox for 25 seasons, often in 2-episode blocks on Saturday nights, along with similarly pro-law enforcement series America's Most Wanted. According to The Hollywood Reporter, reruns of Cops still air on WGN America, which does not plan to renew its syndication contract, and the Viacom CBS-owned streaming service Pluto TV. In the wake of recent events, many fictional cop shows have faced increased public scrutiny. Wow, I didn't know that. With major networks facing pointed criticism for making public displays of solidarity against racism, while still profiting from action-heavy police procedurals like NBC's Chicago PD or CBS's SWAT. Some actors and creators involved with network police shows like Blue Bloods or Brooklyn Nine-Nine have made public statements of support of the protests and donated portions of their salaries to bail funds. Non-fiction shows like Cops or A&E's Live PD, which has also been pulled from basic cable schedule, have been less centered in the national conversation, perhaps because they no longer hold the same place of prominence in the culture as they did in their heydays. But the heated debate around Cops, which premiered on Fox in 1989 with Flashing Lights and Inner Circle's Bad Boys as the theme song, is hardly new, and the show has a long, complicated history of courting controversy for its depiction of poor communities, its filming tactics, and its messaging. So it says here, why was Cops canceled? This is not the first time Cops has been canceled, and given the cynical nature of TV programming, it might not be the last. When the show was canceled by Fox in 2013, the removal of primetime was a win for Color of Change, the civil rights group that called for an end to the show and criticized its intentional focus on Black, Latino, and low-income neighborhoods and its highly selective portrayal of race. Criticism of Cops is as old as the show itself. In 1994, the content analysis of Cops found that white characters were more likely to be portrayed as police officers than criminal suspects, whereas Black and Hispanic characters were more likely to be portrayed as criminal suspects than police officers. And subsequent studies have pointed towards similar findings. Recent articles like long forms How Cops Became the Most Polarizing Reality TV Show in America, published in partnership with Marshall Project in 2018, and the podcast Running from the Cops, produced by the team behind the popular Missing Richard Simmons podcast in 2019, have kept up a steady drumbeat of criticism and analysis. Still, the show kept rolling along. This moment might be different. As the New York Times points out, Cops was hardly a ratings powerhouse for the Paramount Network in recent years. According to Nielsen data, airing of the show in May had 470,000 total viewers per episode, which is less than many high-profile basic cable reality hits. Additionally, The Hollywood Reporter quotes an unnamed source that says the Paramount Network is moving away from unscripted fare as part of a larger programming strategy, shifting towards glossy scripted shows like Yellowstone or recent miniseries that are found on Netflix like Waco. Well. So, I tell you, there's a real big movement against police right now, man. I'm hearing all this defunding, and I haven't even read these articles. I have not gotten into it. There's a certain level of, like I said, of agitation that I deal with covering stories like this. And maybe when I'm ready, I'll sit down and watch all this stuff. But, oh, man, this year is fucking... 2020 is like historic. It's like what the... I tell you this, I already know religious people, if you're religious and you're Christian, or if you know about what Christians teach, I already know that they think it's the last days, but they've been saying that forever. It's the last days. We're going into the Great Tribulation. Armageddon's right around the corner. The Antichrist is going to appear. I'm telling you, they're all talking about this right now with this year. But they said that when 9/11 happened. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I'm not bashing religious people, but I'm just saying I know how it works. I was religious until my 30s. And, I'm not religious anymore. I'm spiritual. My personal beliefs, I believe there is a higher power, a creator, so to speak. But I don't know what the name is. I don't know what the gender is. I don't really know what their, plans are, anything like that. But I do believe there's something out there. That's pretty much as far as I go. I try to be a human being, a good human being. You know what I mean? It's in my nature to be a good person, but at the same time, if all that stuff is true about burning, I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? And if there is a nice, cushy place to reside after you pass, I'd like to go there if that's what's supposed to happen. I don't really know, but, like I said, some people are natured in a bad way, and a lot of them are cops. Yeah, I mean, they're... I knew a particular police officer, and I remember when I told somebody that I knew him, he was like, I was like, oh. I was like, what was that? He was like, yeah, I know him. He's a give me a reason type of cop. I was like, I had heard that before about him. I heard that. So he didn't mind killing you. And it was like, come on, give me a reason. Give me a reason. You know what I mean? So, I never really watched Cops. To me, it doesn't bother me that it's canceled. I don't really care. I haven't had cable TV since I was at my apartment. Remember my studio apartment that I started YouTube out of? I haven't had cable TV since then. I've only had internet because I don't watch TV anymore. ignorance. It's very rare that I really watch TV. Anything I watch now, Netflix, and I do have a live TV service that I pay for, Sling. I use it once in a while when I absolutely have to see some live TV or check something, but I never use it. I feel like I'm just donating money to Sling right now because But let me know what y'all think about it. I mean, there's a huge backlash nationally against police right now. I don't think it's fair that that the good cops take heat for the bad cops, and it's not fair that good people are taking heat for what other bad people do, what other bad civilians do. We don't like being grouped together, and I know the cops don't like being grouped together, and I know a lot of them are starting to feel what it's like to be us now. So I hope that creates a better understanding on the police force generally, because a lot of them do understand. A lot of them come from certain upbringing to where they definitely got into being a police officer because they knew there were bad apples out there and they wanted to be a voice of reason. You know, one thing too, y'all, I absolutely hate the excuse I was following orders. Okay, I'm going to leave the video with that. I cannot stand that. I was just following orders. What are you, a puppet? What, you don't have a mind, a conscience of your own? No empathy for people? I was just following orders. I hate that excuse. I cannot stand it. And just a theory, I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, they may look for that sometimes. He follows orders, Johnson. Doesn't question our authority. What we tell him to do, he does. He doesn't think. He's a machine. Put him on the case. You know what I'm saying? I got a conscience. I would absolutely never make a good police officer or a good soldier in the military. Absolutely not. It wouldn't. There's no way. What do you mean I gotta shoot him? For what? Execute him for what? Kill these people over here for what? Give me a good reason. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's a whole nother video. 10 million subscribers. Whoa.